Hello and welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. Work and assessment mission on a strong delegation led by the Minister on the urban situation of Ali Sibeh, Ministry of City and Housing, as a joke. And on the international scene, heavy rains in northeast Brazil and at least 79 dead. Those were our major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The closing of the 75th World Health Assembly, chaired by the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble, after a week of intense work and debate on the most pressing health issues in the world, the opportunity also to restore the work of the main committees on strategies for training and preparing for future pandemics, strengthen the financing system of the WHO, the intensification of immunization, and many other topics. The Director General of WHO was invited to address the meeting, and he warmly thanked the Djibouti Ministry of Health for his leadership and demonstrated ability to lead the meeting. The Minister Dr. Ahmed Roble was then called upon to make his official closing statement of the World Health Assembly. He addressed his sincere thanks to the Director General of WHO, the Regional Director of the Eastern Mediterranean region, for the confidence placed in the Republic of Djibouti during the 75th session of the Assembly. He said that the exchanges were intense within the Assembly, but that the objective was achieved since the most important strategies for improving global health were validated during the Assembly. Finally, the minister recalled that in the current context of various threats with the drought in the Horn of Africa, the recent cases of monkeypox, the COVID-19 virus that continues to circulate, and the war in Ukraine, there is no health without peace, and no peace without health. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble, highlighted in his speech the global progress in amending the international health regulations and in strengthening the global architecture for preparedness, response, and resilience to health emergencies. The Minister of City, Urbanism and Housing, Mrs. Amina Abdi Aden, carried out yesterday morning a working mission in Ali Sibeh. She was headed by a strong delegation of her department composed of the Director General of the Urban Rehabilitation and Social Housing Agency, Mr. Abdurrahman Ali Ahmed, Director of Land Management, Urbanism and Housing, Mr. Habib Ibrahim Muhammad, as well as senior officials of her department. On her arrival, she was welcomed by the prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Dambegani, in the presence and the vice president of the regional council of Ali Sabih, Mr. Nur Said Guldan, the parliamentarians of the region, such as Abdusiki Dere, Honorable Roda Ahmed Ali, the commander of the police detachment of the region, Commander Mahdi Umar Jama, the commander of the Gendarmerie Brigade of Ali Sabih, Lieutenant Dahir. Then the Ministry of City, Urbanism and Housing met with local authorities, representatives of the deconcentrated services of the state and civil society organizations at the meeting room of the prefecture of the region. The first objective of this work mission is to assess the urban situation and to take stock of the implementation of the guidelines of the Master Plan for Development and Urban Planning for the regional capitals approved in 2016. During this work mission, the Ministry of City, Urbanism and Housing proceeded to the visit of various construction projects in progress, including the construction project of social housing of the Foundation Ismail Umar Gille. The mission led by the minister received a warm and enthusiastic response from all over the Asajok population who came massively to the headquarters of the region council. Then the Minister of City, Urbanism and Housing met with local authorities, representatives of the deconcentrated services of the state and civil society organizations, the OCALs, in the meeting room of the prefecture of the region. The Minister of City, Urbanism and Housing, Mrs. Amina, took this opportunity to underline her availability to support the local and deconcentrated authorities in order to accompany this urban and spatial dynamics that the city of Ali Sabih is experiencing. Finally, the prefect and the vice president of the regional council of Ali Sabih did not fail to thank the Minister of City, Urbanism and Housing and her delegation for this working mission, which they found very fruitful. A strong delegation led by the president of the Ports and Free Zones Authority of Djibouti, Mr. Obakar Umar Hadi, accompanied by his collaborators, began an official working visit to the government and port authorities of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This visit aims to strengthen bilateral cooperation, especially in the search for opportunities for cooperation, to expose the opportunities of port services offered by the Republic of Djibouti by its strategic position of first choice in East Africa, and to further develop cooperative relations between the two brotherly and friendly countries in the transport sector. Various key discussions began with the Saudi side, including the strengthening of existing cooperation between our two brotherly countries, the increase of transport and logistics services, especially in the air-sea traffic, where the minister mentioned that the various authorizations and certifications of Air Djibouti are underway. The identification of mutual opportunities, namely livestock, in East Africa, oil storage infrastructure, exchange of experience in port management, and the establishment of a bilateral joint community on various areas. The Minister Delegate in charge of Decentralization, Mr. Qasim Harun Ali, received yesterday afternoon in his office, the new resident coordinator of the United Nations system in Djibouti, Mr. Jose Barahona, accompanied by Nicholas Gernot, the head of the coordination office. The Minister of Decentralization, Mr. Qasim Harun, congratulated the new UN system coordinator for his appointment at the head of the UN system and recalled the excellent relationship and the strong partnership link between the various UN organizations present in Djibouti. This, in perfect accordance with the policy of His Excellency the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, stressed Mr. Qasim Harun Ali. The minister then made a brief reminder on the mission of the MDCD by highlighting the prerogative of his department. The rapprochement of the administration to the citizens began the main objective south. The two parties discussed outlined the areas of support that the United Nations can provide to the decentralization process of each region. The roadmap of the Ministry of Decentralization is also a strategic document where the mission, objective, and activities of the ministry are listed, said the minister. An important signing ceremony of a partnership framework agreement between the MEMFOP and the French force stationed in Djibouti was held this morning, Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, in the meeting room of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training. The French delegation, led by Major General Mr. Dipno, commander of the FFDJ, was composed of the head of civil military actions, the legal officer, and the head of communication. Also taking part in this event were the Secretary General of the MEMFOB, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoub, officials of the Director General in Vocational Training, the Director General, the Director of Technical Education, and the Director of Sexual Monitoring, as well as heads of department and the heads of schools, but also technical advisors of the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training. The objective of this framework agreement is not only to strengthen the link between the FFDJ and the MEMFOB, but above all to improve the quality of vocational training for ETFP learners by relying on the expertise. The terms of this agreement include a capacity building component for trainers in the various technical training fields. The activities of this partnership also include the vocational training of technical education learners in various FFDJ sites. It also includes technical support to vocational training institutions, particularly in the development of workshops in compliance with international standards and norms, and the rehabilitation of Djibouti schools through school building activities involving the learners. The involvement of students in this type of activity is intended to develop practical skills and thus strengthen their technical competence. The president of the football club Arta Solar 7, Mr. Tommy, held a press conference at the Djibouti Palace Kempinski this Tuesday 31st on the occasion of the signing of the Djibouti international player Mr. Warsema Hassan. The conference was attended by the club president Mr. Tommy, the secretary general of the club Malik Ali Dini, the head coach Forger Terry Christian, and various journalists. The president of the club introduced during the conference the star of Djiboutian soccer Warsema Hassan, an experienced and talented midfielder who played for Selma Warners, a Maltese first division club, becoming the first Djiboutian soccer player to play for a first division club in Europe. The club's president, Mr. Tommy, welcomed the newly signed player to the club and expressed his appreciation and gratitude, stating that Warsema's talent and experience will have a crucial impact in the construction and development of Arta Solar 7. Hassan made his debut with the Djibouti national team in a 2-1 win over Eswatini in a FIFA World Cup qualifying match on September 4th of 2019. One of the ambitions of the club's president, Tommy, is for Arta Solar 7 to become one of the biggest clubs in Africa in the coming years and to establish itself as one of the most prestigious football franchise clubs on the continent. It is worth noting that the Arta Solar 7 team won the 2022 edition of the Djibouti Football Cup last Saturday and the National Championship trophy 2 weeks earlier, winning the Djibouti Cup 4 times in a row and the National Championship 2 times. The Djibouti international player Mr. Warsema Hassan expressed his pleasure to play in the Djiboutian club Arta Solar and to participate with the national team. For his part, the president of Arta Solar 7, Mr. Tommy, expressed his thanks and gratitude to the Djibouti international player for joining the Arta Solar team. Under the auspices of the Secretariat for State of for Sports, the Association of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, in collaboration with the management company of the container terminal of Durali, closed last night at King Fahd Sports Complex, the soccer tournament for young people with special needs. Before the game, the program began with the parade of teams participating in the competition. The final was between the team of Sheikh Musa district and the team of Sheikh Usman, a meeting of all stakes. It is finally the team of Sheikh Usman who lifted the cup by winning against their opponent of the evening in the penalty shoutout 5 against 4. The objective of this tournament, which will soon be relocated in the interior regions, is to detect talent and then form a national team capable of representing the country in international competitions. The event was attended by the Director of Sports, Mr. Abshir Ali Hassan, the President of the Hearing Impaired, Mr. Abdul Qadir Hassan Mohammed, the Head of Sports Disability, Mr. Abdurrahman Abdi Farah, and the Executive of the SES. A classic family photo closed the evening after the award ceremony. The large conference room of Ar-Rahma of Balbala hosted this morning a first meeting of contact of the municipality of Balbala, having participated in members of neighborhoods, councils of Balbala, which are 62 deputies of the municipality, but also notables, women and youth, and where discussed the Operation Zero Waste decreed by the mayor of the capital, but also civil peace and harmony between Djiboutians and the missions that await the elected officials of the municipality of Balbala. One of the notables of Balbala, Mr. Ali Burhan, welcomed the organization of this contact meeting and the difficulties encountered to improve the cleanliness and urged Djiboutians to preserve the unity. The youth of Arhiba continues its campaign of cleanliness in collaboration with the elected community and the Council of Neighborhoods, as well as active associations of the city. This event, initiated by a dynamic and responsible youth of the city of Arhiba, has seen the participation of the Vice President of the Commune of Bal'os, Mr. Ali, the President of the District Council, Mr. Umar Ibrahim, the various community leaders and elders. During the Citizen Action Silver sector of the city have been cleaned, and the city officials have reported to the population to free the public roads by cleaning the vehicles. Finally, the Vice President of the Commune did not fail to praise the teamwork of the youth and the participation of the OVD team and the ONYAD. In the region of Tajura, heavy rains fell this weekend in the northern region of the region of Tajura. These rains affected in the sub-prefecture of Adelo and the sub-prefecture of Dora. In Adelu, the Wadi Abul Huita was in flood in the Doro area. The rainfall this weekend partially fed the plain of Andab on the foothills of Musa Ali in the village of Abu in the localities near Balho on the border with Ethiopia. An RTD team visited the area accompanied by the prefect of Dora, Mr. Abdullah Kamil. In the Andaba plain, the rains have flooded some roads and cars are having a hard time getting through. As you can see on these pictures and video, the rains were violent with a strong wind on Friday afternoon, causing some material damage. The traditional houses were blown away by the force of the wind, leaving many nomadic settlements in precariousness. Not only by the houses were blown away, but also the meager provisions were blown away, and many have no rooms anymore. In Adelo, the Abul Huita Wadi is in flood. The Spillway Dam has fulfilled its role in bringing back a quality of water that will feed the legendary Adelo as well as the wells located in the bed of the Wadi. Nevertheless, according to the latest information, damage has been noted in some of the agricultural permits of Wema, and the fall of flowers and seeds will cause feeding problems for the small ruminants. The elected representative of the region, Mr. Ibrahim Idris, and the sub-prefecture of Dora, Abdullah Kamil, conducted an inspection mission to assess the situation of the families affected by the heavy rains. Despite the damage, these summer rains are welcome for the rural areas where the population were suffering a lot from the drought, especially in this period of strong transmission of the faults from the whole region of Tajura and even from neighboring countries. Shifting gears towards the international scene now to Brazil, the death toll from the territorial rains that have been falling since Tuesday on the region of Recife, capital of Pernambuco in the northeastern Brazil, has risen up to at least 79 deaths, according to the latest official report. At 18 hours this Sunday, the number of dead people as a result of the rain reached 79, said the Civil Defense of State in the statement, also reporting 56 missing. The storm caused landslides on the hillside, the overflow of rivers, and large torrents of mud that swept away everything in their path. Well, apparently, by this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you once again for joining us. Take care.